Yo, what's good, my peeps? It's your boy DK, aka Smooth Kid, aka Legal Trappers, man, coming at you live in effect on this glorious Monday, top of the week, top of the morning. Hope y'all getting out their bed, being grateful for another day, ready to get to these goals, ready to strike out this week, man. We trying to hit the ground running this week. And if you've been here before, y'all already know what time it is, man. We getting straight into the dollar, straight into the DXY. Not gonna waste nobody's time, man. We're gonna get straight into it. If you're new to this video or this channel, make sure you like and subscribe. Other than that, we're gonna talk about these currencies. Understand this is the currency game, aka Forex. But Forex is just a abbreviation for the currency market, which is the global market. It is the cloud for everything else, stocks, cryptos, commodities, etc. Right? Understanding currency game will take your investing slash trading knowledge, um, sort of like lingo to a whole new level, right? This is what this channel is about. This is what we do here at Legal Trappers. And the guru of all currencies is that greenback that's in your pocket, that US dollar in your pocket. So we have to talk about that first because for one, right, we United States citizens. So everything we do, any type of transaction that we have or that we take place in is going to be valued through dollars, right? Whether you giving a service or whether it's over the counter sale, however it may be, it's priced in dollars, time, whatever. So understanding how much power that dollar has in your pocket is key. Understanding how that dollar moves the world, the global economy is key. Everything is almost is a direct correlation or opposite correlation of whatever the dollar is doing. It's just like sports. You have two oppositions. You have a winning team side, and you have a losing side. It's the same way with currencies. You have one currency pair versus another currency pair, basically one economy against another economy. And the powers that be, they have a system in place where your economy is graded in a health type of situation. Let's say a scale from 0 to 100, and 100 is the top number, where in between those variables is what's going to make up, let's say the US dollar is a 80 on that scale, and then you have the euro is a 75 on that scale. So in a sense, you have the dollar, our economy would be saying that it's stronger or is in better overall condition than the euro dollar. What you're seeing on your screen right now is what we call technicals analysis. We use this in forms for us as individuals. We use this in the form of speculation to add confirmations on our speculation because this is what we're going to be doing here is speculating in the market. We take different sources, and those sources provide us with information whether we're going to react or interact in whatever market it is that we're forecasting, whether it's just a straight up and down currency pair, whether it's a commodity, whether it's stocks, whether it's cryptos. Cryptos being Bitcoin, I'm sure you heard of it, which would be the guru of the cryptos. You have hundreds of other cryptos, but understanding the key players, the major players in each different market is key. Is what we're going to be touching on. So you're gonna hear me talk about this dollar every single stream from the get-go. Understanding what makes up this market It's fundamentals. What me and you and everyone around you basically does on a day-to-day basis. We, the consumer, we, the people, makes up these markets. In a sense, we are commodities as well. I know maybe not. Let's say, for instance, you listen to some type of personal development, some type of motivational people. If you probably just scrolling on social media, you may have ran across the Steve Harvey video where he was talking about how getting up late, later in the day or later in the morning, how you kind of a step behind on what's really going on in society because people, the rich or however you want to categorize them, the powers that be, however, they're already making decisions on your life. And honestly, that is so true. You have to understand it not just from the our side of the United States. This is a global market. So you have a market that's open before we even get to the stock exchange. So you have all these different key players from one country to the next country, and they're competing every single day through legislation, uh, laws, all types of trickery or manipulating things that they're doing to get an economic advantage over the other. Understand this is a capitalistic society, whether it's here in the United States or abroad. It is capitalist, you know. So understanding of that key part of what we're going to be talking about is going to bridge that gap on what you're seeing on your screen with these candlesticks. These candlesticks are nothing but representations of how the investor, how the market, how us, how we are basically interacting in our everyday life, day to day, month to month, quarter to quarter. We are pawns on a higher chessboard. But understanding that you are a pawn, understanding where you at will help you be able to get where you're trying to go. Learning this game has been very beneficial to me. Me now going into my third year of actually even just knowing about how to go about this game, where to get my information at, where to study at, learning the lingo, paying attention to certain articles, certain sources, just different representations of different economies. It really starts to break a whole lot of things that you see going on in your everyday life, or from shit, gas prices, what you just buying certain things in the store or taking a trip somewhere, you really start to see the effects of what's really going on, man. And it's all a game. It's literally one big game. But understanding how to play in this game to help you bridge the gap of generational wealth for you and your family. Nobody's going to just walk up to you and give you this game. You're going to have to do your due diligence. You're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to put in the consistent effort, the consistency of even sometimes losing in order to get to that finish line. You have to take the L. This is a revolving game. This is a game that you probably don't really know too much about. They're not out here just giving away this game. Why would I? Who gonna work for me? Who gonna go out here and make this extra money and revenue for me? We need consumers. We need manpower to go out here and fulfill what we got going on. So understanding the dollar, understanding currencies. Basically, the currency game is, like I said, one currency or one country versus another. Where DK, how do we take advantage of that? There's several different ways, but there's several different categories that goes hand in hand. Understanding the fundamental side, understanding the technical side, and then understanding the sentiment side, basically a feeling of what you or how you understand the market. So how do you make money off this game? We make money as a single investor, individual trader, whatever you want to call us. We make money through what is called a broker. Everybody has, if you're an employee, right, and let's say you were participating in the 401 contribution, where your 401k is provided through a broker, whether it's Vanguard, Fidelity, so forth, so on. The broker acts as basically the middleman between you and the actual market. You have two different markets, right? You have the interbanking market, basically the market between central banks, hedge funds, and multi-billion-dollar corporations. Those are the ones who are actually controlling this market. They're the ones who's dumping all this liquidity into the market. They're the ones who moving the market from A to B to C. That broker, right? Our broker is taking our money and dumping it into what is called the interbanking market. Then you also have what is called the spot market, basically, or the over-the-counter market. Basically, anybody that's outside of that entity that I just explained, whether, let's say you got some type of crowdsourcing, you and 10 of your buddies are actively investing money. Y'all take all that money at the end of the month, end of the week, however, and y'all trading it, y'all putting it into a certain stock or whatever, you're still not going to be considered an interbanking market. Even if y'all dumping $1 million, that's chips compared to these corporations and central banks. They playing with billions, trillions. So understand that from the gate, you will not dictate this market. We don't control this market. We're basically surfers. We just gonna ride the wave, understand how they move, and based off how they move, that's how we gonna move. You will not outthink these people. Don't I ain't even gonna say you can try it if you want, but you're gonna be in a sense putting yourself or overworking yourself for a game that you're not going to overthink these people. We talking about us playing with thousands, they playing with billions, and they ain't trying to lose. Understand this is a capitalistic society. Everything is about monopolizing it. Everything is about control. So that money that we use through our broker, that broker uses our money as leverage to place it into the interbanking system. We're taking advantage of it via through our phone or laptops. We can see our entry points, we can see our exit points, and we can see our profit points. The currency game is not as popular as the stock market game because in a sense you have access to more liquidity in the forex market, which gives you more margin. Margin is basically equity within the broker. So for instance, right, let's say I got $100 account. Off $100 account, let's say I take a trade, one trade. I can take leverage $10 on that trade to make 100, but I'm only risking losing $10. But I can make upwards of $100 off this one particular trade using the equity that I'm borrowing from the broker. And the stock game is almost completely different, where you don't have that much leverage. To have that much leverage, you're probably going to have to be able to cover that much leverage. And you can only take X amount of trades. If you're day trading with Forex in this currency game, you can take as many trades as you want. The only thing is the broker, they make their money off either betting with your speculation, whether you feel like the trade is going to go bullish, or betting against your trade. They're betting that you're betting that it's going to be bullish. They're betting that it's going to be bearish, or they ride the wave with you. Let's say your speculations is, let's say you're 75% right on your trades, where the broker's not going to sit here and just dump money against you when you winning. No, if you winning, they're going to ride with you. But in all, they make money off us. They take the fees that they charge us off commission, by placing our money into the interbanking market so we can participate in these markets. We are not market movers. We are not market makers. We are market participants. And through that participation, we're able to leverage our own money like a banking system. Basically, we are our own banking system using that leverage and equity through the broker. You would download certain apps or this app called MT4. MT4 is the centerpiece of what we're going to use to actually put a vision, actually see our leverage, see our where our money is actually going on our phones or on our laptop is your choice. But through that app and through that broker playing the middleman, we're able to participate in these markets. Understanding what comes along with this market, like I say, doing your research, studying, staying consistent, learning the lingo, learning how they move is going to help you make better decisions when you're trading whatever particular, if you're trading a cryptocurrency or if you're trading the commodity all up under this branch that you're going to be learning about, it doesn't matter. But you do want to have a source of what's going on. If you like me, I like to get an understanding of whatever it is that I'm doing. If I don't understand it, I can't follow along. So I'm giving you to you in the most plainest way I can try to give it to you, like what's actually taking place, so you can shorten your learning curve. Now, you might learn somewhere else different, or you might need to, read a little bit more on it, and that's all fine. That's what I want to do. But I'm just here to expose you on what path, just expose you to the information, and then you can start to piggyback off what path is going to lead you to the being the most informed about what's going on in these currency games. So I'm gonna jump into other, I guess you could say, avenues, right? The information that I just gave you, you can kind of scroll back through, play it a couple times, so you can kind of follow along with what I'm saying. But through this leverage, right, what you're seeing on your screen, on your right-hand side, these crosshairs right here, see 112.137. This is live. That is the current valuation of the dollar, what's in your pocket, based on a system that they have in place to, like I say, grade the overall uh, valuation of a country's economy. So those numbers that you see on your right represents what we call pips, points and percentages. Points and percentages, aka pips, is how we're going to make or not make money in this game. This is how we're basically going to be able to keep track of our trades that we're implementing. Once we place it inside that app and the broker places that trade inside the interbanking market, we have no more control over. The only control we have now at this point, we can either close the trade or let it run. You have certain parameters within those apps that you can use to hedge against losing X amount of money, or even hedge once you make a certain amount of money. Get into that later. But pips, understand what is pips. Google or research pips. Pips is points and percentages. And we use our leverage, based on our leverage, based on our account size, and based on how many pips we're risking or we're trying to get in reward, that's going to determine from trade to trade our risk to reward. That's another form of our own banking system, because we are our own bank. Being able to have a system in place, being able to be disciplined, put I guess you could say words on paper, and making sure we're following our step-by-step rules, because in this game, being undisciplined will cost you money. You will lose a lot of money by not being disciplined. You will have a lot of bad, stressful days scratching your head by not being disciplined. So pips is basically a way to keep you disciplined. Pips is a way to keep up with your money. Pips is a way to keep up with your losses, keep up with your wins, and have an overall sense of what's really going on when you hear certain words. And we talking about, for instance, the interest rates, how it's going to affect that number that you see on your screen. So when you hear the powers that be, or you hear these journals writing these articles, and they talking about the Fed for to raise their interest rate by 50 basis points, you'll know what that means. When you see that number 11.209 go to 113, you'll understand why that number changed the way that it did. Fundamental is the key in this game. And those fundamentals are economic news, and that category is broad. Being able to follow those broad categories that you're going to see that falls under economic news is key. It's basically is what represents these candlesticks. And that's something we'll get into farther down the road. But understand fundamentals is everything in this game, not just from what you're going to see from economy to economy, but also within yourself. You are going to have to be fundamental. You hear, like, if you're a sports person, right? One of the most boringest players to ever play the game in NBA in the NBA is Tim Duncan. You don't hardly hear anybody talk about Tim Duncan because he wasn't the most flashiest person. He wasn't the most flamboyant person. But one thing about Tim Duncan, he was consistent on his fundamentals, bro. Probably the most fundamental player that ever played the game. That's my opinion. Bro was boring as hell, but he would constantly and consistently give you 20 and 10 every game with the same moves. And in this game, it's gonna be the same thing. What you do over and over and over consistently is how you're going to learn more, and it's how you're going to yield more profits. Because at the end of the day, this is what we're here for. We're here to make money. Knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is money. That's how I see it. That's what I see. So understanding the fundamental sides of things that we're going to cover, like I say, such as the economic news, and that category is broad. You have all different types, whether it's GDP of a country, whether it's interest rates, whether it's unemployment, whether it's consumer price index. We have different things that's going to dictate how the players that be, which is the central banks, the hedge funds, how they're going to move the market. Understand this is an ongoing competition each and every day, 24-hour game. This game is 24 hours, basically 6 days a week. It only really closes one day, that's a Saturday. But Sunday through Friday, this game is 24 hours. 24 hours. So understand when you see this dollar, man, this is what we're gonna touch on each day. That what I just gave you is kind of like a snippet. I don't want to go into the market and without a background without something you can kind of stand on. As I talk about what I'm going to talk about, you can kind of scale back and say, all right, cool, I'm gonna rewatch the video. And you can really pause in some of the words that I'm saying. You can actually, Google, do your research just to see if I know what I'm talking about. Hold me to the fire as well. But once you see that I do know what I'm talking about, you can further expand your knowledge base from that. Books that you can read before I get into this. My favorite is called Naked Forex. Google, go on your Play Store, Apple Store, and type in Naked Forex. And another one is Candlestick Bible, which is going to teach you what you see on your screen right here, how to understand these candlesticks, which is key. Without knowing how to understand how these candlesticks move and what they represent, probably won't have too much of an individual successful career or path journey, however you want to categorize it. You can't have one without the other. They all go hand in hand, fundamentals and these candlesticks. But that book Naked Forex is going to give you the fundamentals. It's going to lay that foundation to get your gears turning in and get you thinking and going in the right direction. Candlesticks is going to strengthen that direction. It's going to start to put things into perspective. Then from there, you can start to YouTube, not just me, but other people that's been in this game for, you know, a few years, and you can start to learn from them and understand you know, what's going on even further to where you start to carve out your own strategy, your own way of understanding the market because it's no one size fits all. You don't have to understand and see the way that I do. Once you really get a basic knowledge of what's going on, you really will start to, in a sense, form your own way of looking at the market, your own strategy. So the DXY, the dollar, man, this is, we got one more week, basically, really. This is the end of the month. End of the month, first of the month, it's always hectic. Got a lot going on. You're gonna have a lot of news stats that comes out that's going to let you know how a certain economy is doing, whether it's unemployment, whether it's basic consumerism. So everything is pretty much based off consumerism. What me and you is out here buying with our hard-earned money or money that inherits money. It doesn't matter what we're actually buying, whether it's land, whether it's property, um, whether it's some 5 cent candy out the candy aisle. All of that is tracked. So let's get into what we got going on this week as far as news. We just had a lot of news just come out. I remember I was telling you about economic news. As you can see these folders, right? You see the currency, Europe, see the they're basically telling you about this folder that's right here, like what it's about. You get the detail right here, read all this, the source, the measures, why traders such as myself care. All these different factors comes out weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually. It just depends on what the category is about, what it pertains to. And this fluctuates from one country to the next. It's just not our country, the United States. No, you got the Europe gonna have the same category but different forecasts. You're gonna have the Great Britain pound, same category but different forecasts. Has the same impact on the market. To understand, we have to have someone on the opposite end of the spectrum. You can't have capitalism without two parties involved in some type of trade, some type of exchange between values or services, how you need to categorize it. So right now, today is Monday. It's a long week ahead of us. We already got this much news coming out on a Monday, and this the end of the week, like I say. So tomorrow, Tuesday, we got more news. We got USD, we got Australian news. Wednesday, we got a lot of Canada news. Thursday, got the yen and the euro. And right now, the yen is really taking a beating, man. I mean, I don't know the main reason of what's going on in Japan, but the yen is really taking a hit right now. The dollar is really, really causing a lot of what's going on. So our forecast for this week, as you can see, it's gonna be a real aggressive week. And when we have weeks like this coming up, I see something like this, kind of want to be a little bit more patient because with all these different news coming out, understand the market reacts off this news immediately. Sometimes before the news even comes out official. Understand this game is made up of manipulation. Basically, everything we do is, in a sense, how we interact in the society is through manipulation, whether it's commercial or whether it's something we see on TV that they are only showing the good side of, or commercials. I mean, it's all manipulation, right? So this game ain't no different. The only difference in this game is once they get done manipulating behind the scenes, that don't matter. The only thing that matters is once they present this certain data and they have to give it to head of states, and the head of states actually has to make this an official report. That's what the market is going to react off of. Those numbers, those facts that's in black and white. So all that like conspiracy theories, and I don't get into all of that because for what? Let them play how they want to play. Because like I told you, we can't beat them. Only thing we really can do is join them. So let them do what they do, and we just react off what they do. We just ride the wave. So when these facts come out, I like to call them stat facts. When these stats come out, and you have right here, like you say, see, you have the time, and then it has uh, the category of what it's going to be talking about. You see, tomorrow at 9 a.m., we have news come out in the United States, and it's about consumer confidence. Basically, you and me. How much confidence do we have going forward over the next 6 months, or the next month itself? That that gives them insight on certain things that they need to do as far as whether they need to slow production, whether they need to ramp up production, whether they need to lower the interest rate, whether they need to raise the interest rates. There's so many different factors that they're using to predict future endeavors. And it's all being graded and basically produced off our backs. We, the consumer, we dictate, we are the pawns. And we're the pawns that's going out and we're protecting the kings and queens. Basically, the 1%, we're protecting them, and we're pretty much carrying out their agenda, if you want to look at it in the most plainest way. So these stats that we about to see come out, not just in the United States, understand, like I say, this is a global market. But one thing about this global game is capitalism everywhere. It don't matter. It's everything is capitalism. So even if in a dictator country, the citizens might not have democracy like we do, but at the end of the day, that government, whenever it does to outsource whatever resource that they country need, they have to practice capitalism. It doesn't matter whether it's the government or individual. You practicing capitalism in this game. So these stats are key. These stats are what makes up everything from cryptos to stocks. You can't have one without the other. So these facts that you see is what like I say, the powers to be, governments or whatever you want to call it. They use these stats to forecast into the future to see how the economic health of these countries are doing. And for this particular day, we on the platter. United States dollar, consumer confidence, we up the back. We also have the Australian consumer price index, you know, sort of like the consumer confidence, but a little bit different, But think about it, what I was saying. What's the key that you see here? What's the correlation? Consumer. It's about us, what we're doing with our discretionary income, or not even just necessarily the discretion, the tied up income where we're paying the mortgage, paying the insurance, grocery bill, light bill. All of that is pertinent. Each category is pertinent. So we get into the next day, Wednesday, got that whole day, nothing but Canada news. Right across the border, Canada, which is, you gotta understand, they're a big player in the global market as well, import, export. So the Canadian dollar has a big day ahead of them. We're talking about interest rates and consumer confidence that's going to basically move the market very, very aggressive, sharp. At, at this particular time, we got back-to-back news. You got nine, you're gonna have stats come out, and then you're gonna have a conference by the head of state. So Wednesday is gonna be a busy day for the Canadian dollar. You got Thursday, just global wise, period. It's just busy. You got more Euro news, and then you got Japan news. That's really gonna be the key. The Bank of Japan outlook report. Yeah, I've been reading up on it, and right now their economy is suffering. They purchasing power of their currency is getting killed. And understand the yen is considered a safe haven, just like the United States dollar. With the yen taking a hit, that's kind of a more confirmation that we are actually in a recession. We're not heading to a recession. We're already in one. So that's going to be key. And then Friday, same finishing off with the yen, Canadian, and the US dollar price index. I think we just had one, right, with another country. Yeah, consumer price index with Australia. You see the correlation? Different countries, same category though. So understanding those fundamentals and understanding those fundamentals is what dictates what you're seeing on your screen right now with these current prices, and you see these candlesticks. Once you put those two together, you can only imagine how much power you hold in your hands to be able to have control of your own investment, your own trade, your own profit margin by using brokers' leverage in this game. This is what we're gonna be doing here. So my forecast, we've been here, man. I've been bullish on the dollar. We done came a long way from how low we was in valuation in the peak of the pandemic. Now that we're coming out of the pandemic, the dollar has been recovering. But you have to understand it's an economic seesaw. As the dollar increases, then it is causing other countries' currencies to decrease. Like I say, this is capitalism. You got to have two players in this game. You got to have an established partnership, basically a relationship of commerce, one country competing against the other. And both countries are trying to win for their citizens and their own, self-interest. So we bullish on this dollar right now. And what I'm predicting with this news, especially Euro news, I'm predicting more, I guess you could say, worse news for their economy. It's a lot of turmoil over there, man. It's a lot going on from Europe economy to especially Great Britain, the UK. It's a lot of things going on in their economy that's not looking good for them, as far as economic growth. Could be a lot of stagnation over the next 6, 7 months until they really get to figuring out who's going to be the head of state and what direction the head of state is going to take them. I think they just appointed someone. They just not too long, the lady resigned and now they are appointing someone else. So yeah, it's gonna be global wise. It's gonna be real unpredictable over the next few months. So right now it's just Monday. Like I say, this is top of the week. We try to get like a sentiment of where we think the market is going to go for this particular week. I'm still bullish on the dollar, of course, but within those bullish moves, you're gonna have bearish moves. So right now, we seeing a little motion of the dollar may want to go, pull back a little bit more, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see how this news play out tomorrow, and just see how the global the global economies are going to react, especially the Great Britain pound. If you know me, you've been here, I'm a GBP fool. I'm a Great Britain pound. As you see, most of my currencies are you see GJ, GN, GU, GA, GBP Swiss. Like I'm a GBP, like that's one of my favorite currencies. So I see a potential move with GBP NZD. depending on how this counter close over the next 6 hours, that's going to be predicated off of the economic news that's coming out over these next couple of hours. So we're just gonna be patient. Still bullish on the dollar, but nevertheless, it's a very, very busy week. So I don't expect too much movement from the dollar until the opposing economies actually go head on and make they move, whether it's going to be bullish or bearish, because you have an interest rate that comes out, interest rate decision that comes out Wednesday for the Canadian dollar. So we're gonna let the global markets play out. We ain't gonna too much just trade so hard on the dollar. We're just gonna let everything else play out and look for some moves with these GBPs, especially GN right here. If this move, this counter closes out the way that I would like it to, I can see a potential move upward going into later on into the week, especially if the news kind of have confluence with what we see on the screen. So man, this is gonna be my time, man. That's your boy DK, aka Legal Trappers, coming in, checking in with y'all. Try to give you a forecast of what we're looking for, what we're trying to get into going into this particular week, end of the month. First of the month gonna be November. So it's gonna be real busy going into this holiday season. You're gonna see a lot of volatility and the end of the year. So you're gonna, you know, these different economies is gonna be trying to clean up they books. They're gonna be trying to get everything squared up and going into the next year. So y'all stay tuned, man. It should be very, very eventful over the next few months going into my 3-year anniversary that I was introduced to this game. So yeah, y'all stick around, man. But until then, man, I pray y'all be safe out here. I hope y'all get out here and get to this bag, get to these goals, and yeah, tune back in, man. It's your boy AK. Yeah.